Hey everyone, today I'm going to be ranking my last 10 eyeshadow palettes that I've purchased and used. So if you want to see me rank these beautiful palettes, just keep watching. Funny enough, the majority is ColourPop. That tends to be how it goes. Usually the majority ends up being ColourPop, and this time that's what's happening. So we have a lot of palettes. We have big palettes, we have small palettes. We got all the palettes. If you're new to these type of videos, I personally saw Annette's Makeup Corner do these first, so definitely inspired by her. Basically, I'm going to go from my number 10 palette to my number 1 palette, and then, you know, tell you guys about each palette and rank them and review them. So at number 10, we have the ColourPop Hello Kitty and Friends Snow Much Fun eyeshadow palette. The packaging's stunning, honestly. For the most part, I got this because it's Hello Kitty. Basically, I have a vivid memory from my childhood of the Hello Kitty theme song. You know, like, Hello Kitty, play with us today, with all your friends and the love we share all day. Like, I just remember, and I remember seeing it too, so Hello Kitty has my heart. No mirror in this palette, which always bums me out. With a smaller palette, I want a mirror so I don't have to bring in another smaller palette with a mirror. That's just how I am. This color story, though, is actually very, very pretty. I do really like the color story. It reminds me of the Kylie Stormy palette, which is one of my all-time favorite palettes. This palette, the reason why it's at number 10 is because I like all the other palettes just a bit more color-wise and just in general. This palette is good, don't get me wrong. It's just one of those palettes where I basically bought it because it's Hello Kitty and that's it. This palette did work well. I was just disappointed in the fact that the shade Cuddle Weather is more so of a topper shade and not decently pigmented, which kind of sucked in my opinion, but that is why it is at number 10. At number 9, we have the ColourPop Lil Ray of Sunshine. See, I'm telling you guys, I'm flustered today. I cannot talk. I'm tongue-tied. The Little Ray of Sunshine eyeshadow palette. This is an all matte palette. I did do a swatch video of this, which is up already, so you guys go check that out if you want. This palette's beautiful. I do really like it. The yellow shade, unfortunately, is not my favorite. It did not work well on my eyes at all, but besides that, I do really like this palette. It's pretty. I love that it's all mattes, and I just like that ColourPop is A, affordable, and B, they have such good, like, color stories, and usually, like, I mean, they come out with a lot of the same stuff a lot of the times, but this palette I like because it's my type of, like, yellowy, warm, browny sort of shades. At number 8, we have the ColourPop Baroque. I hope I'm saying that right. Baroque eyeshadow palette. Again, no mirror, but this artwork is stunning. I love flowers, so this flower artwork gives me life. It's so, so pretty, but I do think they still could have included a mirror, but it's fine. It's whatever. I hate the background of this palette for one. Makes it so hard to show you guys the colors because it's just like, hey, let me glare it up for you. But this is a stunning, unique palette. I love how it has gray tones, but then you have this really stunning shade called Stunner, which is a very dark blue. This is what I used in my eye look with this palette. I did it all over the lid, blended out with the other shades, and I really liked it. I'm not a big fan of blue-brown shades, so the fact that there is one in here is not my favorite. I hate blue-brown eyeshadows, so definitely not for me. But besides that, I do love the colors in this palette. I love this dark brown color. I just overall really like this palette, and I think it performed very well for the type of eyeshadows it is. Dark shades can be hard to formulate, but ColourPop did really well with this palette, which is why it is at number 8. Ranked at number 7, we have ColourPop Wine and Only. It is a red wine tone palette. It is stunning. I'll include the look I did, obviously, which was just a dark red look. I love these eyeshadows. I think they're beautiful. I really like this color story. I'm in love with dark burgundy eyeshadows. I think they look especially good with my green eyes, so that is why I decided to pick this up. Most of these palettes from ColourPop I got on sale, luckily. Not that their palettes are expensive, because they're not, but I just always prefer that if it's a palette that, like, I don't need right away, which obviously none I do, but I don't want right away, that I'll wait for a sale. And this was one of those, and I'm really happy with it. I love the colors. I love the matte shades, but I do also like the metallics too. The red metallic, Play to Wine, is just stunning. It's probably my favorite metallic in this palette, and overall, I just really like how this palette works. Ranked at number 6, we have the Be Perfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie Carnival XL Pro palette. This was a palette, I got it on sale. It's just a stunning palette. I decided I wanted it because I do love the Love Tahiti Carnival 3 palette, and I've been eyeing this for a while. I did want it for a while, and I've seen a lot of people say it was their favorite palette, so I decided when it was 40% off to bite the bullet, and I did. Unfortunately, I had to pay customs, so again, I hate having to do that, but it is what it is. I actually am surprisingly in love with this color story. Usually, I'm not a fan of more natural shades. I'm definitely a bright girl, which obviously most of these shades are bright, but I'm actually in love with this cool tone row. Like, there's just something about it that as soon as I got this in the mail, I was like, oh my god, I'm in love. So I definitely see myself using this a lot just for those, but I love the variance in color, which is why most of these other palettes are up higher, is because of A, the uniqueness in color story, and B, just how colorful they are and how many variants of looks you can do with the palettes. And obviously you have a ton of tones in here. You have blues, you have some greens, you have like pinks, you have like one purple, which is fine. Love Tahiti has way more, and then you have reds and oranges and a yellow. Definitely think this is a fun palette. Price wise, it's a little bit more expensive, especially if you don't live in Europe, because then, you know, shipping's more expensive, but I would just wait for a sale. This is a permanent palette, so personally I just wait for a sale. And again, the reason why this is ranked at number 6 is just because I like the other palettes a lot more. At number 5, we have ColourPop Fade into Hue, which is this beautiful rainbow palette. You have a ton of different textures in here. You have some glitters, like pressed glitters, which is not my favorite formula, but it is what it is. ColourPop enjoys adding them, so we deal with them. Or you just don't buy the palette, but this palette is definitely worth it. I love the purple row. The purple row gives me life. I did do a fun look with this palette, which I will include the look. I loved it. I really, really love the green shades as well. This whole color story is just stunning, and honestly, if it weren't for the other palettes, this would be at number 1, but I just like those palettes more color-wise. Quality-wise, this is amazing. Price-wise, it was good. I even got it on sale, so this palette is just stunning. Definitely one of my favorites ever, like, especially from ColourPop. It might be my favorite one that they've launched. It's just so pretty. You have such a variety of rainbow colors, which is always up my alley. I love me a good bright eyeshadow. At number 4, we have Juvia's Place La Mariposa Yami Angelina X Juvia's Place palette. That is a mouthful. This artwork is beautiful. I bought this palette on a whim. I was like, that's cute, I'm buying it. I bought it, I regretted it, and then when I got this in the mail, I fell in love. I was honestly going to declutter it, but I was like, you know what, let me swatch it, and I fell in love. The fact that this is so high up on the list and it's only has 6 shades says how much I'm in love with this. I'll include the look I did. I did like a kind of cut crease sort of thing, but this pink shade alone would be enough for me to keep this palette. It was around $14 US, so very, very affordable. Juvia's Place usually is. It didn't come with a mirror, but Juvia's Place never does, so I wasn't surprised by that. I just always wish there was a little mirror, but this palette is beautiful, and the glitter, y'all know, I don't like pressed glitters, but Juvia's Place has the best formula for pressed glitters. Like, I'm not even kidding. Full coverage, not super chunky. Like, they are so good with their pressed glitters. And their shimmers and their mattes. It's just such a good palette. I even like the brown they included because it's a nice warm tone brown, which is my type of brown. If I'm going to do a brown eyeshadow, it's going to be warm tone or very cool tone. There is no in between. Well, yes, there isn't a ton of eye looks you can do with this palette. I'm just in love with these eyeshadows so much that I do not give a single F about it, you guys. Like, I'm just so in love with this one, and honestly, it's cute, and I can't wait to see what else Juvia's Place comes out with, because y'all, this one's amazing. At number 3, we have the P. Louise Worldy palette, which this packaging is stunning. It's the biggest palette ever, which honestly gives negative points because I don't have anywhere to put this in my collection. Like, honestly, like, I don't know where to put it. Right now, I've just been, like, laying it on drawers and stuff because I just don't know where I'm going to put it where I'll be able to reach for it. It's kind of insane how big and bulky it is, but the inside's worth it. Also, this, like, sand, like, front is actually kind of cool. I just wish they wouldn't have made the palette so bulky. This is what the inside of the palette looks like, which is why I picked it up. I've been eyeing this for ever since it came out, but when I first saw it, I was like, you know what? I don't need that color story, you know, I don't need it. But then I saw, you know, Annette's Makeup Corner, she loves this palette, and then I saw some other people do looks with it, and I was like, you know what? I want it. So happy I did. This formula is amazing. I don't have any issues with these matte eyeshadows whatsoever. Shimmers, a little bit of a different story. They're, I haven't tried them on my eyes, so, but I've heard that they're not great, and just from swatching them, they're not great. But I feel like if you use glitter primer and if you wet your brush, I'm sure they'll be decently enough. But for me, I bought this for the mattes. There's only 3 shimmers, so I can deal if they're not the best. The mattes in here, though, are stunning. Literally, favorite ever. Like, I just love the color story. I love that you have blues, you have greens, and then you have these pops of orange, and then this purple goes so well with everything. This, like, reddish brown is way more of a burgundy than it looks in the pan, so these go so well together. This is a palette where I just wish it wasn't so darn bulky, because it literally makes it a pain to use. Like, yes, it came with a big mirror, which is great, but it's still a pain to use. At number 2, we have the BH Cosmetics Lost in LA palette. This palette did not come with a mirror. Apparently it's because BH Cosmetics wants to be more eco-friendly. And I totally get that. That's fine. I appreciate that. I mean, if that's their reasoning for not including a mirror, definitely down for that. That's fine. I always prefer a mirror, but, you know, if they want to be more eco-friendly and by them not including a mirror, it's fine. I'm fine. But this color story gives me life. This is such a good palette, you guys. I used it the other day, and I'm in love. Like, just from swatching it, I knew that I would love it. But honestly, I'm in love with it so much. Like, and I'm so shocked with how much I love it. It's just so good. The quality is amazing. The mattes are amazing. The shimmers are amazing. Like, there is nothing wrong with any of these shades, and I'm just so happy that I picked it up. When I first got it, it was another one of those instances where I was like, you know, did I need that? I'm not sure. But then I got it in person, and I was like, thank the Lord that I bought this. It's just so good. I'm so happy I got it. I can see myself doing so many looks. Like, I love how these are bright shades, but they're pastels. Like, they're bright, and then you have pastel bright shades, and the quality is amazing. BH Cosmetics has stepped up their game. Ever since Sweet Shop, I've been praising their formula, and this is it. So if you love this color story, highly would recommend this palette. I can't remember. I think it was like around $17 US, so not bad at all for the amount of shades you get. I mean, yes, it doesn't come with a mirror, but that's fine. I mean, I love these eyeshadows so much, you guys. That is why it is at number 2 and tied with Worldy, because while Worldy has like more shades, they're just both like tied. I could not choose. Barely. Like, this is just barely better, you know what I mean? Ranked at number 1, we have the Nomad Iceland Fire and Ice palette. Now, this palette is stunning.
I do want to say that they sent this to me and I paid for shipping, so if that, you know, means anything to you, then okay.
I still paid for shipping, and all my thoughts are my own, obviously. But literally, just from swatching this palette, I fell in love. It does come with a really big mirror, which, hallelujah, love that. But this color story, as soon as I saw it, like, when I saw the sneak peeks, I was like, ooh, yes, I need those shades. And then when I saw the palette reveal, I was like, oh, that's beautiful and amazing and unique, but I don't know, do I need it? And then I saw eye swatches and I fell in love. The formula was amazing. The shadows were amazing. So I was like, hey, I love this palette. And they were like, hey, sure. And I'm so glad that I got it. It's so stunning. The look I did with it was a blue look. And it was so pretty. For 2021, this is the best palette thus far. I know there haven't been a ton of palettes yet, but this one definitely, like, ranks in my top 10 overall eyeshadow palettes. Like, it's just that good. I love the color story. I love that you have blues and greens, and then you have a purple, you have these orangey red tones, and then you have, like, grays. Hello, Chloe. Have you come to join us? Have you come to join us? Say hi. Say hi. Chloe's still stepping on stuff. But anyways, Also, can we talk about the indents in the palette? I love that all the eyeshadows are pressed with different designs. The snowflake ones are my favorite because I love snow and snowflakes, so those are my favorite, but they all have different stuff to them, and I just love this color story. It's so good. The eyeshadows are amazing. The mattes are insanely pigmented. The shimmers are extremely pigmented. The only shade that I was sad about was Valkyrie's, only because it wasn't super duper pigmented, but I didn't use like a glitter primer or anything. I definitely think that if you use a glitter primer with this shade, that it would just be perfect. But besides that, I'm in love with this palette so much. I just love the color story. And this, for me, gives me so many look ideas because I can do a blue look, I can do like a green look, I can do like a look with a pop of purple, I can do orangey looks, I can do a red look, I could do a mixture of looks. Like, you just got so many options in this palette, and I'm so glad that I tried this palette, and I'm so glad that I'm in love with it. Thank you guys so much for watching this ranking video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you subscribe. Comment down below any videos you'd like to see me do. Go follow my Instagram and TikTok, Makeup by Tasha XO, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.